Right. So that now we are going to talk about the tissues. Right. So we are going to talk about tissues. So underneath we are going to talk about, right. So that means a learning outcome. At the end of this session, the student would be able to define epithelial tissues. You need to underline that one. So what is epithelial tissue? Right. So next part. Classify and describe epithelial tissue and give examples of their distribution with regard to function. Right. Classify gland based on mode of secretion and describe their saline features with examples. Classify exocrine gland based on duct system and structure of secretory unit. Describe the structure of serous, mucous, and mixed gland. So don't worry, this is the one of the easiest thing. Right. So this one is the epithelial tissue. Right. Epithelial tissue. So epithelial, so you need to know about the definition of the epithelial tissue. Definition of the epithelial tissue. So that means it is thin protective layer of cells covering body surfaces or lining the internal surface of the body cavities, tubes, and hollow organs. Characteristics of epithelial tissue. This is definite exam question. Cells are closely packed together. Cells rest on basement membrane, contain no capillaries. Nutrition is derived from the nearest capillaries. Surface cells are destroyed by wear and tear uh, and are replaced by new cells produced by mitosis phenomenon turnover. Right. So those are basic things. So this is the kind of epithelial tissue. So you can see here there's a connective tissue, and if you look at this one, you get a here basement membrane. So basement membrane, it contains basal lamina and reticular fiber. So here you get the connective tissue. This is the epithelium. So you can see now here. So epithelium. So there's a cell junction, tight junction. So adherens junction, desmosomes, gap junction, apical region of an epithelial microvilli. So this is one example of the epithelial tissue. So it's unlikely to ask you to draw it, but sometimes they will ask you to label in case, right? Function of the epithelium, protection. So those are, that means these are inside and outside. That means they separate things. For example, that means, right? So protection, mechanical abrasion, chemical linkage, bacterial linkage. Then and also it gives protection and also it absorbs nutrient and ions. Then filtration. So it allows to filtrate certain secretion of enzymes, hormones or mucus secretion, then sensory perception, right? So now here, when you are learning these things, you got to know the example of this one for protection, absorption, filtration, secretion, and sensory perception, right? So right. So these things you have to know. Then you have to know about the basement membrane. A thin, delicate membrane of protein fibers and mucopolysaccharides separating an epithelium from underlying tissue. Right. So you have to know the basal membrane. So this is the basal membrane. Right. It's a drawing. Right. Classification of the epithelium, structurally and functionally divided into, right, covering epithelium. Covers the body surface, so lines the cavities of the body. Next one, glandular epithelium. Right. Specialized cell that produce secretion. Okay, this is very important for the exam. Classification of covering epithelia. So you are dividing it into two main parts, simple and compound. Simple one, squamous, columnar, cuboidal, pseudostratified. Compound one we are dividing into two, stratified, transitional, and column stratified we are dividing into three, squamous, columnar, and cuboidal. And squamous, we divide into two, keratinized and non-keratinized. So it is important to know for each part, you should have example for each part. Next one. Right. So next one is what we are going to talk about, covering epithelium. So covering epithelium covers the body surfaces, so lines the cavities of the body. So external surface, epidermis of the skin. Internal surface, body cavities. So then you get a peritoneal, pericardial, and pleural cavities, right? So tracts, that with tubes, that means a digestive tract, respiratory tract. So these, I don't think they will ask what is peritoneal cavity, right? But anyway, you have to know about the peritoneum, peritoneum and peritoneal cavity. So peritoneum cavity is the space between the abdomen that contain most of the abdominal organs. So that is the peritoneal cavity. So pericardial, that is related to heart. Then pleura. Then pleural cavity, right? Pleural cavity. Right. So those things they won't ask what is pleural cavity. That means it's the space between lung and the chest wall, right? So it is in a thoracic cavity, right? So then digestive tract, respiratory tract, and blood vessels, right? Next one, classification of the epithelium. So based on number of simple cells. So that we discuss now. Simple means one layer of cells. Each extend from basement membrane to the free surface. Stratified, more than one layer. Pseudostratified, that means a tissue appears to be stratified, but all cells contact basement membrane. So it is in fact simple. That means epithelial tissue set on the basement membrane. Based on the shape, squamous, flat scale like cuboidal, about equal in height and width, columnar, taller than wide. So like a column. See, these are drawings actually, but even if you see the real one, those are very much similar. So this is squamous, cuboidal, columnar. This is simple epithelium, right? You can see these all simple, no? One cell layer, right? One cell, the simple, that is squamous epithelium. Then cuboidal, so this is columnar. This is what pseudo-stratified. But even though this look like two cell layers, but it's a one cell, right? So other one stratified. So you can see several cell layers, no, transitional, and the transitional stretched, relax and stretch, right? So now simple epithelium, if you take about, so four types: simple is squamous, simple columnar, simple cuboidal, pseudostratified, right? Simple squamous epithelium, single layer of flattened cells with disc-shaped nuclei and sparse cytoplasm. So the disc-shaped nucleus cytoplasm distributes. So that location: kidney, globule, air sac of lungs, lining of the heart, blood vessels, lining of the ventral body cavities. Function: allow passage of materials by diffusion and filtration, secret lubrication. So because why they are extremely thin, so materials can go in and out through this. Right. Simple cuboidal epithelium. So single layer of cube-like cells with rounded nuclei. Locations: kidney, tubulus, duct and secretory portion of small gland, ovary surface. Function: absorption and secretion. Those things definitely you have to know. Right. Simple columnar epithelium. So there's a tall, right? So here you get a goblet cells, sometimes mucus. So that means mucus, they release the mucus, gummy like substance. So they get a microvilli. So that means it has numerous function: absorption and secretion, right? Pseudo-stratified epithelium. So even you looks like it is two cell layer, but actually it's a one cell layer. That's what called pseudo-stratified. Appear as if it consists of more than one cell layer, but only single layer is present with all cell resting on the basement membrane. So pseudo-stratified epithelium, you have to know the why it is special. Cells are tall and short with nuclei located at different levels. Since the nucleus located at the different levels, so we say we at once we see that there are two cell layers, but actually it's a one cell. Location: respiratory tract, epididymis, ductus difference, function: absorption and secretion, right? Stratified epithelium, stratified epithelium. So there are two types: stratified squamous epithelium, keratinized and non-keratinized. So location: keratinized skin, non-keratinized all body opening, mouth, anus, vagina, esophagus. Function: protection, withstand physical abrasion, resist chemical injury. Right? Mouth, you know that we eat junk sometimes, but it resists the right. So mouth, esophagus. So we eat junk, but it protect, right? Protection, withstand physical abrasion and resist chemical injury. So stratified epithelium. So keratinized and non-keratinized. Keratinized epithelium dead. Keratinized cells at surface. So it is dead. But the bottom layers are functioning. But when it comes to the top cell layer, what you see here, dead cell layer. Non-keratinized means living nucleated cell surface. So that you have to know the difference between when it fully keratinized cells are dead. Stratified squamous epithelium, right? So you can see this is the, you can see here K, this part, right? So this is the cross section of the skin. So this is the upper part, what you see here, right? Stratified squamous epithelium, right? Here, stratified epithelium is non-keratinized. It is in vagina. In this area, you get this one. So ADM, so you can download this from the internet, right? Stratified cuboidal epithelium. It's rare. Location, duct of sweat gland, mammary gland, and salivary gland. Function, protection. So stratified cuboidal. So you can see now here, clearly there are two cell layers. Right, more than one. Stratified column epithelium, rare. Location, large duct of exocrine gland, male urethra, function, protection and secretion. So in this area, so you will get a stratified columnar epithelium, right? Transition epithelium. So you can see apical surface, basement membrane. Special epithelium, number of cell layers is changeable according to state of the organ. Surface, large and binucleated. Binucleated is like two. Binucleated. So what is the binucleated site? Binucleated. What is it? Binucleated cell. So when you say binucleated cell means the nucleus, that means cell contain two nucleus, binucleated, right? Large and binucleated, right? So location, line most of the urinary tract such as urinary bladder. Function, allow distension, right? Allow distension. Next one, specialization of the epithelial cells based on the function. So microvilli, cilia, stereocilia, flagella, right? So you have to know what is microvilli, what is cilia, what is stereocilia and flagella. Special cell surface. So villi. So you can see these things you might have done for your O-level exam as well. In O-level also we are doing this. Microvillus finger-like projection to increase the surface area of the cells. Then absorption is a function located intestine and kidney, right? So appear straight broad of the brush border. So what is LM? Right. Specialized epithelial cell surfaces. Cilia. Elongated motile projections. Right. Elongated motile projection. Right. Move materials along the cell surface. Location. Respiratory epithelium. Flagella. Similar structure cilia but long and fewer. Aids in movement. Location. Spermatozoa. Right. So this one we haven't learned for our A levels, right? Stereocilia, elongated non-motile projection, increased surface area of absorption, location, epididymis, right? Glandular epithelium, presence, absence of ducts, number of cells, type of secretion, mode of secretion, shape of the gland, right? Classification according to presence or absence of ducts, endocrine gland, exocrine gland, okay, right? Next question is, what is endocrine and exocrine glands? Classification according to presence or absence of duct, exocrine gland, endocrine gland. Okay, now you have to difference. So this is important for the exam. Exocrine gland, endocrine gland. Present of duct, no duct, exocrine. Mucus or secretion. So hormone secrete directly to the site of action, secrete hormone into the blood. Exert effect rapidly, exert effect relatively slow. Brief effect. So endocrine gland, so the effect is prolonged, long time. Difference between, so exocrine gland, sweat gland, salivary gland, gastric gland, is the pituitary gland, suprarenal gland, thyroid gland, right? Classification according to number of cells, unicellular glands. So goblet cells are modified columnar epithelial cells, secrete mucus found in respiratory epithelium and gastrointestinal tract. Multicellular gland in most glands. Right. So you can see now here, classification according to type of secretion, serous gland, watery section, enzymes, parotid gland. So you get a parotid gland here, anal gland here, submandibular gland here, right? Mucus gland, viscous protein, anal gland, seromucous gland, submandibular gland. So, when you do histology, right? So they will show these already prepared slides. So you should be able to understand those. That means read the slide and get the features, right? Next one, classification according to mode of secretion. So we get a minocrine. Secretory granules leave the cell by exocytosis, because there are two things, no? Endocytosis, exocytosis. So endocytosis taken in exocytosis, so you release it out. So there was another one, pinocytosis, right? Phagocytosis, those are all these things. Apocrine gland, secretory granules discharge together with the parts of the apical cytoplasm. Mammary gland, sum of sweat gland. Holocrine gas, secretory granules shed with whole cells. Sebaceous gland. Right. So next, this is the merocrine gland. This is apocrine gland. This is holocrine gland. So write that activity, right? So compare the merocrine, apocrine, and holocrine gland. Compare the. Right. So now, merocrine gland, so apocrine gland, and the holocrine gland. So that you have to know the differences, how to compare these differences and similarities, right? So the next one, classification according to the shape of glands. Duct system, simple unbranched duct and compound unbranched duct. Secretory component, tubular. So you divide into two, branch and coil. Acinar, simple branched. Other one, tubuloacinar. So those things, right? So classification according to shape of the gland, duct system, and the secretory component, right? Next one, classification according to shape of gland. So you should remember this. Intestinal gland is simple tubular. This one, simple branch tubular, simple coil tubular, simple acinar, simple branched acinar. Other one, compound tubular, right? So then compound acinar, compound tubular acinar. So you have to remember and remember these things with the examples, right? Next one, lining epithelium, simple stratified. Lining, simple squamous, simple cuboidal, simple columnar, pseudo stratified columnar. Stratified squamous, there are two types, keratinide, non-keratinide. Stratified cuboidal, stratified columnar, and transitional, right? So, last slide. Granular epithelium. So, duct and ductless, endocrine, exocrine. So, this one, number of cells, unicellular, multicellular. Type of secretion, mucus, serous, seromucus. Mode of secretion, minocrine, apocrine, holocrine. Shape, duct, simple compound, so secretory portion, tubular, acinar, tubular. Right.